Knockout game has been going on in my high school since the late 80s.
Yeah, it's an old thing.
Oh, yeah.
The knockout game.
They used to do that in...
It's just a game, though. It's okay. Oh, that's right. People are dying.
The old days, I heard about that, like years ago. I don't know if they call it the knockout game, but you just walk up to somebody and punch them in the face and knock them out. I mean, that's been forever.
And they're like, teens are going up. Be honest.
Teens, yeah.
It's groups of black teens just going up and smashing people in the head.
They're targeting fucking Jews, though, and that's...
Jews out, and yeah. Good luck there, because them Jews, they will stick together. They will make a to-do about this. Good.
But you hope they target the wrong Hasidic who has a fucking machine gun on him because he works in the Diamond District. A lot of those guys are armed. If they work in the Diamond area, they're walking down the street with a lot of money.
Murderer!
But they, those guys are fucking strapped, man.
Oh, yeah.
So you hope that they walk up and try it with one of those guys while another guy's there with a fucking pistol.
Why? So that guy has to go on trial and fucking, be called all kinds of names and shit.
But in this case, it proved it to be accurate. Zimmerman's a boob.
Well, he's a boob, but of course, I still think it was self-defense.
He was served with divorce papers, too.
Keith Robinson had a very funny tweet. Zimmerman only pulls a gun on women and children. That was really funny.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, he's not a big Zimmerman supporter.
No.
Very good.
His divorce papers.
Yeah, he makes bail in there. There's his soon-to-be ex-wife lawyer with the divorce papers.
Oh, tired of Anthony being Zimmerman's cheerleader. There, then don't listen. Bounced. Goodbye.
Oof.
Not his cheerleader. I'm just saying one thing doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the other. He could be a complete asshole. I've always said I don't know what he's like, and judging from the news, his personality does seem pretty shitty. I'm not saying that. Saying it doesn't mess with the facts of a case that was determined to be self-defense. That's all I'm saying. No matter what the fuck he does, doesn't fucking matter what happened with that case in a court with evidence that was presented there.
I think it can shed doubt on a person's story. No matter what, like if you hear a guy who says, I was arrested for beating my wife, and then all this stuff is, people kind of feel like he did beat his wife, but you can't technically prove it because she's a black guy, but she could have hit the doorknob. All right. Yeah. But then he gets in another relationship, and his girlfriend's like, you punched me. Right. It does shed some doubt on the first.
It sheds some light on his personality, but if you just look at the facts of the case, he was getting his face beat in, so fuck it. I'm just so tired of it.
Tired of what?
The whole race thing. It's out of control. It's out of fucking control. This is some of the worst fucking relations between the races that we've had since fucking Jim Crow laws. And it's, I don't know what it is. I have my theories.
Oh, no.
That's my theories.
What's your theory?
It's fucking the fact that Obama's president. It gave everybody this attitude. It gave a lot of black people an attitude that, things like the knockout game and fucking welfare and yelling racism because he criticized the president is a fine thing to do. Political correctness has gone one way like crazy. The hypocrisy is insane. And it's fucking...
People are playing disgusting. Knockout because we have a black president?
No, the lack of any real fucking discipline, doing anything about it. People are afraid to even talk about it. They shiver into when they talk about race. Am I going to say the wrong thing? Oprah comes out and talks about, all the racism that's going on because the president gets criticized, and it's all racism. It's not the fact that he's doing a shitty fuck job as president of the United States.
But people can say, I swear to you, I'm not playing devil's advocate. White people are the problem because white people are the ones who are full of shit and scared.
White people are full of shit. You're right.
Someone could come right out and
Oprah's
just go,
a fucking dumb cunt.
So what? Someone could say to Oprah, that's bullshit.
I'm not blaming white people because Oprah's a fucking idiot.
No. But who cares what what I'm saying is what she says is not important
because
to me.
now she's got this empowerment. All of a sudden, she's empowered, and what she says is fucking like gospel.
It's been like that for 20 years.
That's ridiculous.
She's had that since 1985 or whatever. She's got whatever she says.
Well,
she makes books, bestsellers.
When the
everything.
race card comes out, it's fucking infuriating. It's fucking infuriating.
It only means anything if white people listen to it. If white people who don't feel guilty and don't feel like they have something to hide, you know what I mean? It doesn't.
I'm not putting all the blame on white people
because white people are the ones making the decisions. I've never had a black boss sit me down. Or you know what I mean? I've never heard of black bosses firing. It's always fucking
You're right.
white
You
people.
could blame white people for not reporting accurately the crime stats that involve black people. You could blame them for not reporting the fact that in Chicago and Detroit, murders, black-on-black murders are running rampant. You can. But that doesn't excuse the fucking behavior in and of itself. It's deplorable.
But the behavior hasn't changed in the last 20 years. Like in shitty...
Yes, it has.
But I mean...
I think it has.
White people are the ones who, when you discuss it, they get uncomfortable and they back up. I never had it's not uncomfortable for blacks to talk about race. It's uncomfortable for white people because there's that whole...
Well, the way blacks talk about race is we can talk about it, you can't. So I'm sick of that whole fucking thing. I'm so fucking sick of it.
But you know how you and I talk about it? No, we talk about it on this show. Like, if everyone just discussed it honestly, maybe without the language, or in real life.
If they in real life, when you discuss it, you know, we get phone calls every time we fucking discuss this. We get phone calls from black guys that are all pissed off that we're even discussing it. So it's fucking disgusting the place we're at right now as far as race goes.
But if you're able to talk about it and not have guilt and not feel bad, which I don't, and you certainly don't, then there's no. And if everyone was that honest about their own shit, then people wouldn't be getting fired for stuff like that.
But then you get like Brian Gumbel comes out and says something too.
Well, he can say what he
can say what he wants.
Sure,
but I mean, but
what he says isn't outrageous. He's saying he's saying no one should use the word. He's not saying only black people should use the word.
Yeah, that's realistic.
But I don't agree with it. I think he's unrealistic.
And white people are not parading around with a song that has fucking use the word nigger fucking 80 times or 120 times in the song.
Hold on a minute. Here we go. We haven't done this yet.
Oh, no.
We haven't done this yet on our show. Jamal, North Carolina.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Jamal.
What's up, Jamal?
Not much. Now, what Anthony's saying, believe it or not, I agree with him.
All right. Okay.
I know, call me crazy or whatever. The problem is that it's not open
try that.
dialogue. The shit that he be saying, you know, about the
shit that he is saying. If you want to work, say the shit that he is saying, not he be saying.
Okay.
That's not fucking proper English.
Well, shit.
You're not going to get a job. And then when you don't get a job, people go, oh, why are black people's unemployment rate twice that of whites? Perhaps if you go into a job interview and speak like a fucking human being.
Doesn't he agree with you?
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
This guy's on your side.
No. Had it.
No, let me answer that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just about to get off work.
All right.
I make over $140,000 a year.
What? Nice.
Righteous. My kids in school.
Making a guap.
It is guap.
That's guap.
Here's the important question.
Do the right thing.
Are they hiring for when we're out of here? Are they hiring, by the way, for when we're no longer working?
I could use that.
The point of it is,
yeah.
The point that I'm trying to make, and if you'd like me to speak proper English,
yes,
but I'm sorry. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. I did not go to school. I'm self-taught in computers and engineering, etc. If you want something, you have to work for it. And that's where a lot of black people or even white or people in general don't have that drive and don't, everything's not a scratch ticket and boom, I'm rich, I'm famous, or this, that, the other thing.
I also don't like that. That's a cop. What you just did, you unconsciously just uttered a cop-out fucking thing. Black people don't say, and white people, but there are some things that are indicative to certain races. White and black and fucking Asian and German. And there are differences we have as people. And people don't want to identify that. If there's a negative, that is indicative to one race, everyone has to lump all the other races in and say, well, it happens here too. But no one wants to identify that there's a distinct problem in certain other communities and address it thusly. Instead of addressing it, you go, well, everybody did. And it's like, no.
And I hear you with that. Wait a minute. And I hear you with that. So all white people have a perception, a self-perception about about how black people are. So I could say, hey, all white people.
I'm never saying all, and I never say all black people do this or that. My usual response is there's a disproportionate number is what I usually say, Jamal. I say a disproportionate number, which shows that there is an issue. There's some type of problem when there's a disproportionate number of criminals, of crime, of fucking deplorable violent behavior. These are issues that need to be addressed. The fact that blacks are killing other blacks in numbers that far exceed the national average of people other than blacks is astounding. And the lack of it being addressed by the media and by black leadership is just, how does that happen?
Well, there's a couple of things with that. Now, first off, I agree with that. There's a lot of black-on-black crime and this, that, the other thing. And I take to exception that the quote-unquote black leaders, I'm black, but no one has to lead me about anything. I lead by common sense. So the Jesse Jacksons, the this, that, the other thing, the people with the money handout, they're just comical to me. All right, so that whole black leader thing, and again, that's the white media who made them quote unquote our leaders, which they don't really talk about. Yeah,
I understand that. I've heard that before. Okay.
Yeah, but they're not talking about real issues. Now you're right. Blacks are killing blacks, record numbers, this, that. They could blame crack, this, that, the other thing. But the point of it is that it should be talked about. There should be more arrests. We should be disgusted. I'm disgusted. Yeah. I'm totally disgusted by the whole thing.
Well, your voice is not being heard then.
No, and by you saying the things that you're saying, I think is only good because it should start an honest dialogue. There's nothing. Some things that you say I could disagree with, and this, that, the other thing, but I could disagree. But as an American, I would die for you to say some of the stuff that you say, because it's freedom of speech, and you can't play it both ways. And everyone should be able to have an honest discussion about it.
Exactly.
Hey, you think that people kill everyone or whatever, and I kind of get upset when. But
do you understand how calculated? Do you understand how calculated people have to be when they do openly and honestly discuss race in this country? How when you watch the news and they do have some type of forum on race, how people are tiptoeing around the issue, how they're afraid. You could absolutely see them consciously choosing every word so that it can't be used out of context.
What people are tiptoeing? The white ones.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Whitey.
A bunch of fucking
dumb, guilty whitey.
A bunch of guilty, because usually when people tiptoe, it's because they have something to hide. Yeah. If you're they don't mean to. But it's like if you're just being honest and you're not being aggressive or being an asshole, you can always have a discussion and you're not going to get in trouble for it. If you express an opinion that you think the language should be... It's because they have something to hide.
And that's what they call the pussification of
I'm just not going to sit here and think that Whitey is completely responsible. It's almost as if you're just blowing off the black race as a bunch of children that need to be coddled and protected, and then just blame the parents. I think the black community needs something called responsibility of actions. That just doesn't seem to be out there anymore. There's a multitude of excuses for every fucking deplorable act that I see out there.
All right, Jamal. I'm moving on.
We got to move on.
Thank you. Let's say hi to Sean in Massachusetts. Sean.
Hey. I'm just calling Anthony out. He wants to be able to drop the N-bomb without anybody getting mad, but he's getting mad at Jamal for saying we be instead of we are.
That's totally different. I'm saying I wouldn't put it this way. I wouldn't walk into a job interview and start dropping the N-bomb. I'm not saying that people should be able to use horrible words and slurs in every situation. That's ridiculous. And if he's hanging out with his friends and wants to say we be going somewhere or whatever, that's fine and dandy. I'm just saying there is this. I'm saying another problem in the black community, and the reason I think that unemployment is so high has nothing to do with racism. It has something to do with the perception
of your potential employee when they cannot speak. This is something that's been addressed by a lot more powerful people than me. Bill Cosby himself has addressed this issue. A lot of black people that are put in high position and praised have said the same things.
And they're educated. It's an education problem. White people.
Yeah, it's an education problem. That's what it is. Throw more money at it. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Meanwhile, I just saw a story yesterday where a school had a giant brawl happen, and the parents are upset because they cut back on the money for security on the school. So they need more security. That's what money should go to. When you allocate money to education, it should go to prison guards, to fucking prison guards in your schools so they're not beating the living shit out of each other. How about that is taken care of by parenting, by parents that educate their kids that when you go to school, you don't treat the cafeteria like a fucking prison yard and you try to learn and make something better of yourself. But no, blame it on the fact that white people aren't paying enough taxes and enough money isn't going to inner city schools. That's such horse shit, too. Enough.
Oh, yeah. You're just looking for the racist shit because you are a racist.
That's what I am. I'm a racist. I hope you're a victim of the knockout game, sir.
I avoid people that are involved in the knockout game.
Oh, you're profiling. That's terrible. What a racist you are. Profiling.
I'm educated.
Oh.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Why are you so fired up today? What's going on with you?
I'm just disgusted with this
I see
whole
it in your eyes.
thing.
You're all fired up. What's up?
It's an allergy.
What's going on? What happened?
Nothing. I'm disgusted. Just disgusted with the whole thing. Enough. Yuck. That and the stupid fucking, event that we're supposed to do. It's got me pissed.
Yeah, it took a lot of oxygen out of the room.
Yeah.
Once again, we believed. Stupid us.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people. I've read on Twitter, not a lot of people, believe me, it's just a couple of people. They're like, no, fucking, he just talks about race. No, I talk about dick jokes too, and vagina and big tits. But it's a big issue. It's the fucking, as they call it, elephant in the room that is rarely addressed in an open and honest fashion. But it's always hinted to. I'm not bringing up something that isn't right there in the fucking room. It's not right there. Every day you watch the news and you see it. It's there. I'm not breaking new ground here. I'm not talking about something that isn't being discussed every day and being addressed in some way, whether it's some passive-aggressive way or subdued. But it's out there. I'm just fucking talking about it. But, of course, the second, just like that guy, all of a sudden, racist. Oh, the scarlet letter R these days. Oh, it's terrible to be called that. You're fucking demeaning what a racist is.
Yeah, I talked about this yesterday on I did that HuffPost Live.
Oh, I want to play that.
Oh, actually. I loved it.
Did you find that?
Oh, but
and you caught shit for it, too.
Did I?
Yeah, I saw. I
didn't even notice.
I lambasted some gentleman.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh, real brave.
Oh, I saw it, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it is brave to talk about those things because no more people aren't doing it. And he goes, oh, people don't bash Sharpton? That's not the point, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, the guy was dumb because the point of that was we had it. It was the host was good though. We talked for probably 15 or 20 minutes, and this was just a minute clip they put up. But we were talking about racism and all that stuff, and one of the points was I said people are so scared of being called that, but I have no fear of it because I know I'm not. It's not like, oh no, I have no fear that in an argument or a discussion somebody's going to uncover something in my personality which proves elitism. I have zero fear of that.
Right. Well, here's the clip from yesterday. It's on HuffPost right now.
Yeah, this guy was good.
Happen right now specifically, I mean, you tweeted about Alec Baldwin and MSNBC. What did you think about that?
I have no problem with Alec Baldwin saying cocksucker or faggot or anything in the language. My problem is with MSNBC, and they mete out punishment arbitrarily. I don't care what anybody says. None of it should be, it's like, he said he was sorry, he was angry. We act in this country that we don't understand why Alec Baldwin would say something rude to the vulture paparazzi. Like, that's how backwards we are. They actually harp on the language he used instead of the piggish culture which loves these photos of people's personal lives. Like, it's this great diversionary tactic. Oh, my God, he said the F word. That's not the issue. The issue is we live in a place where there's something interesting about 50 photographers standing around watching a guy put his kid in his car, and the rest of us don't see anything wrong with that. So I don't care about Alec Baldwin. My point was, if you're going to punish him and yank his show, what about Al Sharpton? No one has said worse things publicly than Al Sharpton. Does anybody?
Such as?
White interlopers in front of Freddie's Fashion Mart. This is many years ago when he was those Greek homos. He has said horrendous things. The lie about Tawana Brawley. The guy's been an absolute pig for many, many years, and he gets away with it because everyone's afraid just to tell him exactly what a complete asshole he really is. So MSNBC hires this jackass, and then they're going to hold somebody else to language standards while he's out, having said the things he said. Come on, it's just silly.
Nice.
I close with silly.
Silly, come on.
Silly's a harsh word.
Silly.
It's a great clip. Great clip.
Thank you, man.
I want to apologize. Someone said something earlier in the broadcast.
Is Alec Baldwin coming back to MSNBC? It's officially done, right? I think.
But he might have been difficult, though. They might be saying, like, he was difficult to be around, too. Like, but I think it's probably that, if anything,
Right.
This the second one.
Unbelievable.
The MSNBC, fucking fantastic. Yikes!
And someone else called up, like one of the questions, and they're like, "Why do you do Fox so much or whatever?" So I didn't mind answering that, and I said Hannity defended us. And I'm like, where are all these liberals? It was Hannity defending this show, and then the guy goes, yeah, but and I said CNN is just as biased.
Yeah, but you're not, and no one's calling you from MSNBC in general.
That's a big part of it, too.
Yeah,
ask me to go on CNN. I'll be happy to.
I think you would go on in a second.
Love to.
Yeah.
I did Joy Behar show.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So, all right.
There's a great article, by the way, in the Post by a woman named Jillian K. Melchior, whatever her name is, just in the opinions about a union's low blow to MMA fighters. And it's about the fucking piggish, I keep saying that word, Sheldon Silver and the Culinary Union and how they are fighting to keep MMA illegal in New York. The whole thing is absolutely a lie and bullshit. Not her, but it's the only state in the union that it's illegal in. We are an embarrassing fucking state. That Sheldon Silver, I hope he fucking falls down an elevator shaft. I hate that guy.
Aren't they still trying to use the lie that it's because it's violent?
Oh, it's also the lie is some of them because some fighters have made offensive comments.
Oh, come on.
It's a lie. It's because the Culinary Union, they don't like the fact that the Fertitas have a union a casino in Vegas, which is non-union, and the Fertitas are willing to allow what they call a secret ballot to see if their workers want to be unionized. A secret ballot. But the Culinary Union says no. I guess what it's called is a card ballot, where they want it to be a public vote. And the reason for that is so they can intimidate people who are not union.
Yeah.
But the Fertitas are all for a secret ballot. Like, go ahead, vote. And if you want it, you can have it.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Wow.
And so the union is so mad that they're using the Culinary Union in New York, of course, because Sheldon Silver is just a fucking whore for them. And they are all, that's why it's not legal in New York. It's all union fucking bullshit. So anyway, great article in the Post today, and I'm happy to see it getting writing. Chris Weidman, the fucking middleweight champ, is from Long Island. He's saying what a disgrace it is. We have a champion from here who can, by the 20th anniversary that was just fought in Vegas, you know how much Dana would have loved to have done that here? You know how much fucking money is being not brought into New York? Our taxes go up. They complain about money, and they said about 700,000 people in New York get these pay-per-views. It's fucking disgusting how much money they'd make at Madison Square Garden or on Long Island.
Every time.
Or they'd probably do it in what's Jay-Z's Barclays.
Yeah.
They would do it in Brooklyn too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
So please continue to support that, and just just know that the Culinary Union is behind the whole thing. But again, they don't make it happen. Sheldon Silver, they can only push and they can only pressure.
Yeah.
They don't vote in that assembly. That's Sheldon Silver and those other creeps.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, wow, what a corrupt fucking state we live in.
Totally.
Food's here. Take a break.
Nice.
We'll get into the Rob Ford clip of the day next.
There's more, huh?
Oh,
Yes.
God.
Thank you.
And a great little thing from Family Feud.
Family Feud.
And other things.
Thanks.
Yeah, the Opie and Anthony Show. The Opie and Anthony Show on Sirius XM. All right, well, that sucked. To hear the Opie and Anthony Show 5 days a week live on satellite radio, online on your phone or tablet, or even on demand, go to SiriusXM.com. Also, interact with the Opie and Anthony Show on Twitter, at Opie Radio, at Anthony Cumia, and at Jim Norton.
Welfare and yelling racism because he criticized the president is a fine thing to do. Political correctness has gone one way like crazy. The hypocrisy is insane. And it's fucking...
But people are playing
disgusting.
knockout because we have a black president?
No. The lack of any real fucking discipline doing anything about it. People are afraid to even talk about it. They shiver into when they talk about race. Am I going to say the wrong thing? Oprah comes out and talks about, all the racism that's going on because the president gets criticized, and it's all racism. It's not the fact that he's not his cheerleader. I'm just saying one thing doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the other. He could be a complete asshole. I've always said I don't know what he's like, and judging from the news, his personality does seem pretty shitty. I'm not saying that. Saying it doesn't mess with the facts of a case that was determined to be self-defense. That's all I'm saying. No matter what the fuck he does, doesn't fucking matter what happened with that case in a court with evidence that was presented there.
I think it can shed doubt on a person's story. No matter what, like if you hear a guy who says, I was arrested for beating my wife, and then all this stuff is, people kind of feel like he did beat his wife, but you can't technically prove it because she's a black guy, but she could have hit the doorknob. All right. Yeah. But then he gets in another relationship, and his girlfriend's like, you punched me. Right. It does shed some doubt on the first.
It sheds some light on his personality, but if you just look at the facts of the case, he was getting his face beat in, so fuck it. I'm just so tired of it.
Tired of what?
The whole race thing. It's out of control. It's out of fucking control. This is some of the worst fucking relations between the races that we've had since fucking Jim Crow laws. And it's, I don't know what it is. I have my theories.
Oh, no.
I have my theories.
What's your theory?
It's fucking the fact that Obama's president. It gave everybody this attitude. It gave a lot of black people an attitude that, things like the knockout game and fucking...
knockout game has been going on in my high school since the late 80s.
Yeah, it's an old thing.
Oh, yeah.
The knockout game.
They used to do that in...
It's just a game, though. It's okay. Oh, that's right. People are dying.
The old days, I heard about that, like years ago. I don't know if they call it the knockout game, but you just walk up to somebody and punch them in the face and knock them out. I mean, that's been forever.
And they're like, teens are going up. Be honest.
Teens, yeah.
It's groups of black teens just going up and smashing people in the head.
And they're targeting fucking Jews, though, and that's...
Jews out, and yeah. Good luck there. Because them Jews, they will stick together. They will make a to-do about this. Good.
But you hope they target the wrong Hasidic who has a fucking machine gun on him because he works in the Diamond District. A lot of those guys are armed. If they work in the Diamond area, they're walking down the street with a lot of money.
Murderer!
But those guys are fucking strapped, man.
Oh, yeah.
So you hope that they walk up and try it with one of those guys while another guy's there with a fucking pistol.
Why? So that guy has to go on trial and fucking, be called all kinds of names and shit.
But in this case, it proved it to be accurate. Zimmerman's a boob.
Well, he's a boob, but of course, I still think it was self-defense.
He was served with divorce papers, too.
Keith Robinson had a very funny tweet. Zimmerman only pulls a gun on women and children.
Yeah,
that was really funny.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, he's not a big Zimmerman supporter.
No.
Very good.
His divorce papers.
Yeah, he makes bail, and there's his soon-to-be ex-wife lawyer with the divorce papers.
Oh, tired of Anthony being Zimmerman's cheerleader. There, then don't listen. Bounced. Goodbye.